Will you tell me, I mean, the question that keeps coming up for me is now, how do we expand our awareness? But I mean, where do we go next?
Well, first is to, again, this happens in the culture track, where there must be a discussion on what are the norms about talking about mind, body, spirit, consciousness, bringing your whole self into the workplace. If you don't break that norm, then people are not going to talk about it. You can send them to a course, you can send them to a workshop, they can take an online program, but it stays there. It doesn't move into the workplace. In fact, what I call is the 3-day washout effect. For most trainings, after 3 days, it's as if it never took place because the boss says, get back to work.
Yeah.
So we have to, in the culture track, have discussions to legitimatize this discussion on this topic and to talk about what is human resources, if not bringing the whole person to be engaged, fully employed, to contribute everything into this organization with joy, with love. And when the employees can do that with one another, the customers feel it. Everybody feels it. It spreads. It's contagious. It radiates. That's the energy. If you see the waves here, they radiate. Do you want to radiate the dark energies, or do you want to radiate the light, the bright energies? That's your choice. But if you don't discuss that in the culture track, you have what is called the unconscious conspiracy. And the unconscious conspiracy is, I won't talk about it if you don't talk about it. Let's leave it alone. And we go about our business, but only 5% or 10% of us is really present and available to the organization. So that's why, again, I start with the culture track. It has to be discussed in the organization. And then there's the role of leadership. What does senior management say and do about this? If senior management realizes that this is the way to the future by making full use of all the energy, wisdom, and talent in the organization, they have to set the example. And every successful change program that's system-wide has to be led by the top. They have to understand it. They have to embrace it. They have to set the example. The groups and departments can't make great headway on their own. But if you want this to spread throughout the organization, this is what is called leadership. And if it's not senior management's responsibility to fully engage people towards the pursuit of the most important strategic objectives, what is their responsibility? Why are they there?
Right.
They have to set the example for bringing everything to the table in the best way possible so we can have the creativity, the engagement, the empowerment that we need in these very turbulent times.
Yeah. I'm wondering if it would be useful, you've talked about the culture track and some of the other tracks. I'm wondering if it would be useful for us to bring up that visual on the 8 tracks.
Let me see.
And I have it if you don't have it handy.
I have it further down here somewhere. See all these interesting slides I have here.
Oh, there it is.
Here's one. You can see the radiating energy is as we move out from the hub to the spokes, we're making use of these tracks. Now, the first 3 tracks, culture, skills, and team, that I call the quantum infrastructure, the behavioral infrastructure. That's the informal organization. And here's the commandment. The commandment is, don't even try to change strategy, structure, reward system, or processes if you don't have an infrastructure that allows for an open conversation, a candid conversation within groups, across groups, cooperation, teamwork. Otherwise, you can change strategy, structure all you want. People continue doing whatever they want to do, how they always used to do it. So you have to implement the first 3 tracks, which is also the invisible organization. And once we have that infrastructure, then we'll say, where are we headed? How are we organized to get there? How can we improve upon that? How can we disseminate that and operationalize that into every group and job in the organization? How do we put the reward system behind it? Many times there's changes in strategy structure and the reward system stays the same. If it's important, we have to recognize it, appraise it, and reward it. And once we have the informal, these are the informal systems, and the formal systems aligned, then we can say, how do we improve the speed and quality of all the processes that flow within and across all the formal and informal systems? Gradual process is how the process takes place within groups. This is some of the old material on quality management, which got tossed out because organizations tried to jump here and they never did the earlier work. And then radical process is the processes that flow across the boundaries, the business processes, management processes, to bring qualities of services and products directly to the end customer, and learning process. What did we do? How did we do it? How can we do it in half the time next time? Are we learning? Are we doing it better and faster every time? It took us 3 years to implement the last strategic change. Can we do it now in 6 months? That's learning. But again, the sequence is the commandment, because you could take every quick fix, every change initiative, and put it somewhere in this model and then show if certain things didn't take place before, it won't be successful. If certain things don't take place after, it won't be sustained. It took me 50 years to learn this.